Hello, we're back. I'm hoping sound is good. It should be. I'm back in the office room. It's great. I got a new desk today. It's a standing desk, so I can like do the fancy sit stand thing now, which is going to be good because honestly, sitting in the living room, it was kind of nice, but it was doing me dirty, doing my back dirty. So it's nice to be. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button. It's nice to be back in the office room with the proper lights, but also to have like a proper sized desk. My monitor's in the right place. I've got my laptop there instead of like sat underneath the monitor. There's actually space for all of the arms. The camera can be in a good place for me to be able to talk and not look like I'm massive on screen, but have like a decent focal length zoom on the thing, so it's good. Now, what are we doing today? The answer is kind of dossing, because I am so tired. I don't know what's going on, but I feel knackered at the moment, just constantly. There's a lot of stuff spinning in the background. Like anyone who's in the Discord server will know that I'm about to start a new job, which is great, but also has been, takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of time. I've had to sort out like onboarding process and blah blah blah, so that's been something. We've got a project in the studio which we're doing externally, i.e. something that we've been commissioned to develop, which is really cool. So I'm spending a lot of time kind of focusing on working on that at the moment, which has taken away some of my brain power. And then, there's also been finishing up the renovation stuff in the kitchen, getting the office sorted out again so we can be working back, and by we I mean obviously me and Adele be working in the same room. We still have the old desk, which is like a 2.5 meter long slab of wood, because we used to share it, but now that I've got this standing desk, we're going to get her a standing desk as well at some point, which will be over behind me where the piano is right now. Get rid of the old one, so the space will be sorted there. Yeah, there's just been like a bunch of other stuff in life. We're trying to sort out all of the transitions between old and new, and it's just like it's lots happening. So I'm kind of tired. My brain isn't really working, and I don't want to put energy on working on Plant Game right now, because I feel like it deserves me when I'm in a state where I can actually think clearly and do functional goodness. So what we're going to do instead, because I am a big fan of chess, we're going to make a chess type thing with a bit of a I won't say anything about it. We're just going to make a chess type thing, and we're going to make it so that we can move pieces around the board, but I'm going to try and do it in a way where the code is structured so that everything is like independently decoupled, so we can have the pieces on the board, have them maybe use the types of moves that they can have based on a scriptable object, or we can maybe define like a chess piece movement as a scriptable object, and we can have pieces have a list of those, so we can basically build up either prefabs or other scriptable objects that these then will hold in data to have a full system in place. It's a lot of updates. Right, so things I've done so far, basically nothing. I've made a class which generates a grid. Again, we're using, it's very similar to what we did for Plant Game. In the first instance, we've got a reference to a grid component because it makes, converting between positions and all the rest of it way easier. We've got a vector2 int for the board size, which is, width and height, or width and depth, I guess, because we're working in 3 dimensions. And then there's 2 materials, a dark material and a light material. On awake, grab the grid component and call this generate grid method. All the generate grid does is does a 4x for the width, 4y for the height, instantiate a new tile. We're going to get the cell position for that tile by querying our grid for the center of the cell position based on our value of x minus the board width over 2 and the value of y minus the board height over 2. Reason we do this is because it will move everything relative to the center of the world rather than building from 0, 0 and going outwards. So it just means that we have everything nice and centered, because I prefer to do things that way. We then update the position of the tile with that new position, or with that new cell position, making sure that we're using the x value, using the x value and the z value, but we want to keep the y value as 0. And then we set the parent to be the board object, and then grab a component in the children, the mesh renderer of it, so that we can change it to the dark material or the light material based on, which tile this is in the grid. So if I go ahead and just hit play, we have a very standard chessboard right now, which looks quite nice. Signature style, of course, low poly, or not low poly, but minimalistic, flat shaded, isometric. That is my vibe. That's how I roll. Let me give this a twist. You get my face up close a little bit, and there we go. Professional. Still figuring out where everything needs to go, because I lean forwards a little bit more. I think it makes more sense if you're over there, or maybe just there we go. That's better. That's better. It's brilliant. Professional. Okay, so got the chessboard. What we would like to do is make it so that we can select squares on the grid, or select pieces on the grid. So for that we need pieces. So let's go ahead and let's just start making pieces. I'm going to make a folder called piece component, or piece logic. Let's just call it piece logic. And I'm going to go ahead, create C# script, which is going to be a piece object. I think that's what I want to call it. So this is going to be our actual mono behavior that exists in the world. And I think the way that I would like to do this, we're going to make a few scripts actually. Let's make another one which is going to be called piece data. That's going to be a scriptable object. And then I'm going to create a movement data, which is also going to be a scriptable object. Cool. So first things first, our piece data, like I say, a scriptable object. We are going to give this a create asset menu. I'm going to call the menu name chess or piece data elements. Piece data, and the file name can be new piece data. How's the size of the text on screen, by the way? If I need to zoom it in, let me know, because for me it looks good. I think it looks good on the stream as well, but it might be small. So give me a heads up if it is too small. Just let me know. Cool. So we'll have a public string piece name, public. Do we need a piece description? I don't think we do, but we will have a public mesh. Yeah, public mesh piece visual, and a public list. G'day, boss. We are making something chess related, because I was explaining that I feel absolutely knackered and my brain isn't really working up to the speed that I would like it to be for working on a plant game. So I'm making a chess game instead. Big brain. You see, that's probably how tired I am. The fact that I feel like I can successfully create a chess game when I'm too tired to make a plant game. Like that's something else. Anyway, it's easily readable, fantastic, good stuff. Right, public list movement data, and this is going to be our movement, or valid moves. Valid moves. And I reckon probably what we might want to do as well is separate movement data from capture data, or perhaps... Oh yeah, there's a thought. So let's pop open our movement data. This again is going to be a scriptable object. And I think I kind of want to make this abstract, because that way we can have like a we can have two different subclasses for a continuous movement and a like a specific movement. So for example, thinking about a bishop versus a knight, the knight can specifically move to a square that is 2 forward and 1 to the right, or 2 forward, 1 to the left, 2 back, blah blah blah, whereas a bishop can move to any square in a diagonal line. So I figure it kind of makes sense if we have continuous movement data and specific movement data, so that we can, you know, have logic for specifying each. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make this an abstract class. We're going to give it a public vector2 int get valid move or get valid spaces, which is going to take in a grid. I guess it needs to take in a board manager for the board that we're playing on. Is that how I want to do it? Is that how I want to do it? It kind of is. It kind of is. Let's roll with it. So I'm going to make this an abstract method. Returns a list of vector2 ints, not just a vector2 int, and it's going to take in a board, and it's going to take in a vector2 int piece position, like so, and then from that we can do some stuff to return a list of valid spaces. I think that's actually all we need. It's maybe all we need. We probably want to have a public vector2 int array, and this is going to be our movement offsets. And that is going to be what we set in the inspector as like +1, you know, +1 on the x, +1 on the y, just +1 on x, -1 on y, etc. And actually we're going to change this, we're going to make this different. We're going to have a public struct Leon, hello, welcome, and this is going to be a move option. Move. I am in my office room again, finally. I got a new standing desk, which is nice. I'm kind of tempted to boost it to standing mode actually, because I was when I had it set up earlier, literally I spent all morning building this desk and getting it set up, rearranging all my stuff off of the old desk so that I'm back in like decent space. But I can look at this. It's not going to do it now. Oh, it's not doing it. There we go. Oh, it's because I was pressing the position 1 button. I need to press position 2. Here we go. Yes. I'll let that rise up. There we go. now it's at the level that it should be, and I'm tempted. I might actually just stay standing for a little while, actually, because I do just feel so much more switched on, stood and coding. A bird just flew right past the window. That was very distracting. Anyway, to be fair, just a quick note on the desk. It's an IKEA desk. It's the new Mitsun range that they released earlier this year. Or maybe like late last year, I'm not certain. I think it was earlier this year. It's a really, really decent desk, like really quite good for, you know, what you get. It's a 160 by 80 desk. I can't remember what the distances for the heights are, but it's got built-in cable management. It's got a space in the back for the Coupler barge plug thing, so that's got 3 plug sockets, 2 USB sockets, and it just sits flush in the back of the deck, which is really nice. Back of the desk even. It's got built-in cable management rails along the bottom side on the back as well. Sit stand functionality has 2 save points, so you can save your sit position and your stand position as you would expect standard. Comes in loads of different colors. I've gone for the walnut veneer top with black legs, and obviously, you know, I'm not going to make any money from this. I'm not sponsored, no commission. I do genuinely just think this is a really good, decent desk. I would feel pretty confident sitting on it, but that said, I weigh basically nothing. I've tested it out with, you know, it's got, at the moment on the desk, there's 2 laptops, my interface, microphone, camera, controllers, the massive ass monitor that I've got, and I did also have my MIDI keyboard, which is like a full weighted 88 key MIDI keyboard, like a proper hammer action thing, weighs a ton, sat on top of this, and it felt stable. It was moving perfectly fine, wasn't feeling or hearing any signs of burnout, any weird smells from the motors or anything. So, you know, definitely. I mean, just then, putting a bit of force into it, you can see it kind of jiggles a little. But, it's, you know, for what you pay, it's a really fantastic standing desk option. Whoops, no, don't do that. Just use system. Thank you very much. Boom. Cool. Good stuff, good stuff. So now we need to actually make some implementations of that. Oh, the mic is gone. Is the mic back? Yeah. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, it's really annoying. The with the Shure SM7B, I'm going off on a tangent again, but with the Shure SM7B, which is this microphone, the podcast bro microphone of choice, which, you know, granted is a very good microphone. I can understand why people use it for podcasting. It's got it's a workhorse and it's got really good low end response, but it's got a really bad noise floor. So if you plug it in just normally, you basically have to crank it up really loud to get any volume through, but you also get loads of noise coming in the feed as well, just because the output from the microphone is really low anyway, which is kind of standard with dynamic microphones. So for this one, I've whacked on a FET head, which is this silver bit up the top. It's like a tiny little microphone preamp that just boosts the gain on the signal without bringing up the noise floor. So I can have my volume cranked up pretty high on the interface so that the microphone is nice and loud, but I'm not going to get loads of noise coming through, so it's better quality signal. Problem is, the connection on it is terrible. So if I move the microphone like slightly sometimes, it'll jimmy it out of place and absolutely ruin my sound, which has been really painful when I'm recording with artists and they do a really good take and we discover that like midway through the take the FET head is jiggled out of place and it's messed up like the recording for the vocalist or whatever. So yep, real pain in my backside, and I would like to get my condenser mic back out again, but I need to treat this room acoustically first, otherwise it's going to be reverb central. So yeah, let's not do that. Okay, we're going to create some implementations for this move data. We are going to have continuous movement data. This is going to inherit from our movement data, and I want to make sure that I also I keep still pressing Alt Enter instead of Command period or Command dot for quick fixes, because I'm used to Visual Studio still instead of VS Code. I don't need to do anything fancy on here. We can just do our stuff in this. So to do return a list of spaces up to the edge of the board for each of our movement parameters. We will do that in just a second. For now, we'll return default, which is just going to be an empty list. Let's give this a create asset menu. Menu name. I want to actually, you know what, I'm going to just copy it from the piece data here. Bang. Movement data, continuous. New continuous movement data. And then we're basically going to copy this entire thing and stick it into our static movement. How's my Next.js course going? Honestly, I haven't actually touched any Next.js for a little while now, actually. I really need to get back onto it, because something that I would like to do. Well, I've got a few things that I really want to build website-wise. One of them is actually for the estate that our flat is on. I've recently become a director for the management company, because it's all effectively like kind of going into the rigmarole of how housing works in the UK, but they're all leasehold flats with some houses as well that are freehold, and then everyone who owns a property on the estate has a share in the management company, and people with shares can run to be directors. The directors, i.e. me and a few other people on the estate, handle like managing the finances for the estate and kind of the general goings on of everything as well. So I've recently become a director, and one of the things that I would like to do for our estate in order to like boost the community spirit of the place is build out a relatively simple Reddit style forum, which would give us as the directors the ability to share messages out with the rest of the residents about the place, and also give other people the opportunity and a place to raise issues that exist, get in touch with the directors, etc, etc. So that's probably one of the projects I work on next as far as Next.js goes, but I've been very out of the loop with it. I don't think I've actually, I haven't really worked on anything for a little while. I have no idea what next door is. Simply put. I love forums. Forums aren't too bad. And you know, there's yeah, it should be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Right, specific movement data. Do I want to call it specific movement data? I'm trying to think. Trying to think. Does Nextdoor have a? Is it web-based or is it an application? Because one of the main things as well, actually, there's two things. One thing is the directors want to have moderation rights, so we want to be able to manage things like tagging for posts, categories that things can exist in, all the rest of it, and also be able to moderate posts if, you know, anyone's being particularly unfriendly, posting out things that are offensive to someone on the board or some other resident in the estate. We want to be able to go in, control that, filter it out, and get, you know, prevent things like that from happening. But we also want to have management over the accounts for the people on there. So when someone new moves in, someone new buys a flat on the estate, or someone sells their flat, we can create a new account and send out the details in the welcome pack. That way we can also manage roles for new directors if the board changes, things like that. So there's a fair bit of the back end management that I think a general social media app wouldn't be able to do, and also it's helpful for the older residents, because the general age in the apartment block is, I think the average is maybe like somewhere around 65. Like, most people are quite old. So we want to make sure that it's accessible for people who aren't particularly technologically inclined either. So yeah, it's just being able to factor those things in to make a custom platform. Whoops. There we go. Specific. Okay. Sweet. So the difference that we're going to end up with is basically just in this get valid spaces method for the continuous, instead of iterating over each option that we have and like basically just checking until we get to the edge of the board going in that line, we are instead just going to return the exact position. And I think something that we can do is we could probably add to our movement parameters. We could have some public bool multi-directional. Ooh, or maybe we have a... How do I make a drop down? Value drop down, configurable options. What I would like to do, or what would be quite nice, is if I could have like an enum for, so we can have a public enum movement direction. Have north equals 0, east equals 1, south equals 2, not 22, west is 3, and then I would like to be able to have a public list of movement direction. Movement directions. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then we can do some really crazy stuff. So like we could make a multi-directional yeah, we can do so many cool things if we work that out. I just want to make sure that we'd be able to actually have the drop down on it. What game am I working on? I'm working on a fun little experiment based on chess roguelike, basically. there's no meat and potatoes in it yet. It's not even really an idea. I'm just kind of coding some stuff because I want to practice better architecture for things like applying abilities to stuff. Think jokers in Balatro, having things be responsive to, you know, if X piece moves to Y square, then this piece will do this one. Is my other game finished? No, I don't have the brain power to work on it. I'm so tired from sorting the office and doing director shenanigans, starting new job, doing the kitchen and the living room, and yeah, I just don't have the brain power to be working on my commercial game at the moment, with our internal project. I haven't started the job yet. I'll start that soon, next Tuesday, but the external contract that we've got for the studio, which is, you know, super exciting, that's going along nicely. Working on visual development for that at the moment. Can't talk about it in too much detail, but yeah, it's cool. I feel happy. I can indeed scale up my webcam a little bit. I don't want to scale it too big though, because I do that's moving it. I don't want to do that. There we go. I don't want to block too much of the Unity editor. There we go. Nice and big on screen now. Yeah, I think that's about right. Okay, right. I need to actually do some things here. New specific movement data. Cool. And the piece object. We're not going to do anything with the piece object right now. I think I might make a placeholder. So the approach that I want to take for this is similar to the latest Mix and Jam video where Andre remade the card juice, the game feel from Balatro. And the approach that he took was to have an object in the game that was responsible for the data side of things, so getting clicks, getting selections, dragging and dropping, all the rest of it, and then a visual which sits separately to that and follows it around. I've actually got the Git repository pulled up for that, so we'll go and have a look at it in a minute, but yeah, we're gonna try and do something like that. So possibly, you know, tomorrow in another stream we'll look at implementing some visuals with like proper tweening and all the rest of it. You got a new promotion. Nice, congrats. That's really good. They better pay you for it. You should always get a pay rise with a promotion. Can't have one without the other, in my opinion. What are the things required for getting a job in the game dev industry as a fresher? Honestly, I couldn't tell you because I've never had one. My day job is as a DevOps engineer, so cloud computing. If you ask me, the two most important things that I've heard from other people are a large portfolio, or like a creative portfolio, and contacts. So you want to be making sure that, you know, if you're judging by the fact that you've said fresher, I'd assume you're probably from the States. So, you know, in your college, if you're still in college, or in your state anyway, try and find like game dev meetups, game dev hangs, go to conferences and various networking events, meet people, talk to people, join Discord servers, do game jams, get to know people around. A really good one to join is the Games Jobs Live Discord server. They have a lot of entry-level roles, mainly in the UK, but I think they have some remote ones and ones in the US as well. So I would definitely join into some of those, keep an eye out. But yeah, the main thing is really just making stuff and releasing it, because I think something that people tend to worry about, and something that I certainly worried about for the longest time until I released my first game end of last year, is making things perfect, because people are going to judge you for bad stuff. But you know, really, and especially in the case of when people are hiring, I think you want to show your process. People want to be able to see that you can solve problems and that you can actually do the things. So it's quite nice to see if you've got, you know, if you've got an itch.io page, it really is a good decision to just, you know, make a game, put it on itch.io, even if it's not original, not very good, not special, just put it on there, because then you can use that as a portfolio and almost a timeline to show your progression as you've been learning. And then, you know, when you're at these networking events, or when you send an application to a company, when you're doing an internship, whatever it may be, the recruiter or the people that you've spoken to can take a look at this list and see, oh wow, this person's really come a long way, and they definitely seem to know what they're doing now. Because that's been one of my biggest cruxes when, you know, kind of over last year and the year before, I was looking for an industry job rather than trying to do things indie, because obviously, you know, it's more stable to have a actual job than it is to run your own business. But I just didn't have a portfolio. So, you know, I couldn't get a job anywhere, even though I've got, you know, 13 years of experience coding in Unity and making games, both physical and digital. I haven't got anything to show for it because I've never published anything or kept anything like tracked on the internet up until, you know, when Tilelands went out at the end of last year. So that's my biggest piece of advice, is just, you know, release stuff, keep a track of it, make sure it's somewhere so that you can show it off. Doing an internship, you're making a game for them, but it's taking too long to make, so it makes kind of low. I mean, to be fair, you know, games take time. How long is too long? I'm seeing you've said that you've taken you 4 months to complete an Endless Runner course. I would say, you know, that kind of depends what the course is and what you're learning from it. Because another thing that I've said before, and I'll get back to actually coding in a second, but I've said before as well, coding isn't about learning C# or learning like C++ or learning Java or whatever. It's about learning to solve problems and learning what tools exist to solve those problems. Because, you know, especially in the indie sphere, you're going to be probably looking at learning C#, HLSL for shaders, probably some node-based interfaces for also for shaders, possibly for coding, maybe for behavior logic. There's a lot about programming when you get past the kind of super entry level into beginner, into intermediate, into advanced or senior. You start progressing through being able to move away from just learning like, right, okay, this is a for loop, to then learning, okay, I need to think about this problem that I've got and these tools that I have. How can I put these tools together and use them in the right order to solve the problem that I'm looking at? And that, you know, like Volatile has just said, it's absolutely something that gets easier with time. You just need to do it and things will start to click into place as you do it more. It's like you can't become an expert in, I don't know, building houses by watching house building tutorials on YouTube for 5 years. You just have to get out and make a house at some point so that you can learn actually what making a house is like. Okay, right. I'm gonna get back to actually writing some code now. So, we've got some logic. I would like to make a script called let's call it selection manager. Yeah, let's call it selection manager. And I'm actually going to create a new folder which I'm going to call selection systems, and we will move the selection manager under there. I'm going to create a interface called iSelectable as soon as Unity lets me. I think it's just turned that into a new behavior script. Ugh. I can't be asked to... Oh, actually, yeah, I can. I'm going to pop that open real quick, and we'll just rename the file over here. iSelectable. It's going to be a public interface. iSelectable. And this is going to implement the you know, I don't know if it's going to implement anything yet, actually. Let's leave this blank for now. And I'm gonna do some dotting. What I would like to do in the selection manager, I would like to have a public iSelectable current selectable, which is going to be get private set. And we're going to set this through events. So what I would actually probably like to do is have a it's going to have a public bool selected, which again will be get, or maybe we can make this get set. I think that's what I want to do. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, yeah, fun story for anyone who's watching who doesn't know the context. Me and Beagle Bagel Alan we both went to college together, basically didn't talk through the entire of college, and then fluked ourselves onto the same apprenticeship. So we're like good friends now. But that apprenticeship was something. It was something. That was the one that I dropped out of as well. Alan finished it. He did better than me. Right. What am I doing? I am doing something. I would like an event. Which is probably going to be a public event. Blah, 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 blah. Public delegate void on no, I'm gonna change things up a little bit, I think. He says, I might go, this is where I maybe go and reference some of the code that we've got over here. So, yeah, this is the Mix and Jam Balatro field project. There is a whole video relating to this. I imagine it's probably linked in here. Yes. Yeah, there's a link for this video. I highly recommend, if you're not already, you go and subscribe to Mix and Jam. Andre doesn't post very often, but when he does, it's mind-blowing. Recreated like the axe from God of War, the wall traversal from A Link Between Worlds. I mean, there's loads of other things. The Monument Valley camera and movement system. My brain is drawing a blank, but genuinely, like, one of my favorite channels. Anyway, reason I'm over here is because, like I was saying earlier, something that the dude did is separating the card from the card visual, and that's exactly what I want to do. So at the moment today in this stream we're working on the card aspect, so I want to take a look in here. And you can see that on the card itself, it's got a whole bunch of interfaces, these are all default Unity interfaces for drag handler, begin drag, end drag, pointer enter, blah, blah, blah. And they just do different states of, like for what happens when with the mouse, and they respond to the new input system, which reminds me I need to create an event system in the scene for this to work. So let's do that. I'm going to go UI event system. We're going to replace it with the input system UI module, and I'm going to go onto my camera and I'm going to add a physics broadcaster so that we can actually do some events with this thing. So this then raises the question for me: if I want to have the pieces be like full collision objects, or if instead I want to make it so that you click in the world space and it then checks to see what position on the grid you clicked in and selects that tile or the piece that's in that tile if there is one. Which is that's kind of the approach I was thinking to take, because obviously we don't want to be able to select multiple chess pieces at once. But it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult. Yeah. Yeah, no, you haven't convinced me into Helix yet. I've just switched to VS Code. I can't be switching again so soon. Just looking at the deadline. Got 80% of the project. The deadline is the end of June. That's all right. That's all right. You've still got time. I mean, if you're not subject to non-disclosure and if you want help with anything, ping some messages out in the Discord server, because I'm literally always watching the Discord server, and I'd be happy to, you know, if you've got code that you need some pointers on or anything like that, just let me know and I'll endeavor to assist, or at least try my best to anyway. Nice. Right. Yeah, so I don't want to be able to select multiple pieces at once, so something like this is probably going to be pretty helpful, or potentially even we just have selected be static, but not the boolean selected. We have like a selected piece as a public static piece, selected piece, and then when we select a piece it just updates it with that. And we still probably want to fire off an event, actually, thinking about it. Yeah, okay, Bonnet. We're going to do it like this. So I'm going to have my iSelectable interface, also implement iPointer, down handler, iPointer. Actually, I think I just wanted to have iPointer click handler. Yeah, that works. And then we'll have a public delegate void selected handle selection, which takes in an iSelectable selection, and a public event handle selection on selected. I think that's probably what I want to do. can I do that? It seems I possibly can. So on my piece object, if I go here and implement iSelectable, what is that going to put in here? Good, we have our onSelected. What am I trying to achieve here? what am I doing? So I've got let's do that, and then our get is going to return selected, and our set is going to say selected equals value. I think this maybe isn't the way that I want to do it, but it kind of is. It kind of is. I think it is. I think it is. It possibly is. I'd like to get something happening on the board today. Tell you what, let's I'm gonna put selecting stuff aside real quick, and instead we're going to move to actually getting pieces on the board in the first place. So we're going to have everything be a pawn for the time being. But what we we don't even need to have everything be a pawn. We will, under our board management, let's create a new C# script, and this is going to be a board config. This is going to be a scriptable object. We are going to have a public list of board board tile data, board data, and let's go ahead and make this. It's going to be a system.serializable public struct board tile data, and in this we are going to have a public vector2 int tile position, a public piece data, and a public bool, I guess, is dark. And what we can also probably do is have a public vector2 int board size in here. Let's just extract some stuff out. So rather than having board size in here, we're going to replace this with a private board config. And then here we can use board config.board size. Board config.board size. And actually, you know what? Let's not do that. let's just rename this. What do you mean the element can't be renamed? Why not? Okay, fine. Leon, I can't remember the shortcut for renaming all instances. Never mind. Board size. And let's create a local vector 2 for that. So we'll have a vector 2 int board size equals board data or board config.board size. Command D or Option D. I need to make a note of that mentally and physically. Let me write that down. This is one of the nice things about having new desk as well. I actually have space for my notepad to be on the desk, as well as everything else. Because the old desk was only like 60 centimeters deep, possibly not even that. So, you know, between having the laptop on the stand and the monitor with the interface, guitar cable, microphone cable, all the rest of it, just no space. Plus D. Cool. Noted. Alright, so we've got our board config. What I think we probably want to then do is a for each var data in board config.board data. We want to say if is valid position data dot tile position. So we'll make that method as well. If is valid position, we will var new piece equals, and I think this is where we need to have, as well as a board prefab, we'll have a serialized field, private piece object piece prefab. Instantiate our piece prefab. And I mean, we're basically going to do exactly this, but for the new piece instead of new tile. So for is valid position, we want to basically return tile position dot x is greater than or equal to 0, and tile position dot x is less than grid size board grid dot the board data config dot size dot x, and the same thing for y. Yeah, I got that one. That's a classic. The moving lines up and down. I need to get more fluent with some of the shortcuts like that. Like the one where you can select over multiple lines as well. Is that... Hey, that's not what I meant to do. There we go, option. Which is really nice, means you can type over multiple places. I love that. Right. Need to go ahead and fix these positions as well. So this is going to be that. And this is going to be that. Same thing again. .x. Oh wait, no, I don't want to do that. I want to set material based on data dot is dark. There we go. Sweet. Okay. Let's also give our board config a create asset menu. Create asset menu. Menu name. Board config. File name, new board config. Get rid of that. And the piece data, I think actually we probably don't want to use piece data directly, but rather we want to use the piece type. Maybe we can use piece data. So piece data, rather than having a name, or maybe it does have a name, but we also have a public piece type. Piece type. Reason being, maybe we want to make a variant of something. So it's of type knight, which is going to define what the visual looks like, I guess. Or maybe we don't even need to worry about types. We can just set visuals. We'll loop back. Either way, we now have a way of creating some boards. So let's make a default chessboard, shall we? Oh, yeah, this is fine. Right, let's create folder scriptables. Board configs. Gonna create a board config. This is going to be basic chess. You know what, actually? Let's make a 5x5 board. Go ahead and create some piece data. This is going to be a pawn. I'm going to call it basic pawn. The visual is going to be the pawn visual. Not that that is going to make any difference at the moment. Valid moves for now we're going to leave empty. And then in test chess we can have this be a pawn. We'll have 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, and 4, 0. And then we'll have the dark ones, which are going to be at 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, and 4, 4. I think if we go ahead and drop our board config in here, and our chess piece prefab in there. Need to make sure I make it a piece. Moment of truth. Boom, look at that. We've got some chess pieces on our board. Very nice. My camera target is at 0, 0. I've just noticed if I zoom in, our board is not... Our board doesn't appear to be centered. But it looks centered? Am I tweaking? Somebody tell me, does that look off center? Because it looks on center to me. But honestly, I'm not sure at this point. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Kevin. It's getting there. So now what we want to do is make it so that we can select these pieces and make them move. Is it rotated from the middle or offset from the corner? It's from the middle, but I might be... I think odd numbers might make things a bit awkward. So like if I go, let's go back into the test chess and let's make this an 8x8 board. We're going to end up with our pieces in the same position, or the same positions, but yeah, that's central. I mean, it looks... If I zoom in there, it's also not in the center. You know, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. Left and right spaces look different. What do you mean? Like as in the gaps between the left and the right of the screen? I'm assuming that's what you mean. I think you're probably right, because yeah, it's definitely... I mean, it must be. It must be. Not a problem for now. That's a problem for later. Problem for future Cuba. What I think we want now is to actually try and get some things moving, and the way I want to do this is A, using shapes, because shapes is an awesome library, but B, we need to figure out how we're selecting things and how we're deselecting things. So something that we can do for the time being, I think we probably just, we yoink a bunch of code. I think that's probably what we do. So let's make it, let's make it so that the piece object has knowledge of its current position. So we're going to give it a public, or maybe I'll give it a private vector2 int current grid position. We'll make a setter for that as well. So public void set grid position. And let's make sure that we do that when we set up our things. We'll say our new piece dot set grid position cell position, and actually we don't want to set it to the cell position, we want to set it to data.tile position. There we go. Okay, that's one part. It does also mean that the piece needs to have a collider, so let's give it a box collider. Hey, not 2D. Remove that component. Let's go onto the chess piece and do this in here. Give it a box collider. What am I doing? 0.25. Let's make it 0.5 tall. There, no, I want it to be taller than that. I doing? There we go. Cool. So now it will actually be clickable, and for the time being as well, let's just go on to our piece object, and on here, rather than doing all of this governance, let's just debug.log piece was clicked. We probably also want to have a reference to some piece data on this piece object as well. But we'll do that in a second. Amazing. There's 2. There's 3. Good. So we can click the pieces. That's fantastic. Gonna just take a quick sip of apple juice. Warm. That's not it. That's not it. Okay, so let's try working through this code here and see if we can get an understanding. I think it was on mouse up, on pointer up, that's handling the clicking. So if it's not the left button, we're going to return. We want to do this as well. We don't want to be able to right click to select. Oh, and he's doing a check to see if the pointer up time right, okay, so there's like a pseudo click being set up because on pointer up you maybe want to do something else. That's fine, we don't need to worry about that because we're not doing any dragging, we're just doing clicking. So selected is equal to not selected. Select event is invoked. Great. It's basically what we've already got. It's also just invoking with the boolean for if it's selected or not, and then if it's selected, yeah, we set the position. Cool. Okay, so let's do something like that. Do I want to make this selection offset static so that it's consistent? I think I probably do. So on iSelectable, I'm actually going to have a... I don't think I can do that, can I? Amazing, I can. Cool. So I can say, do a similar thing here, selected equals not selected, and then if, oh well, I think we don't even need an if, we can just do this in one line. Yeah, transform.localPosition.y. Wait, I'm gonna have to set it. Meh. Transform.localPosition equals that's interesting. So there's changes, the change in position in here is based on the card visual Eh? This is weird. This is weird. If selected equals false, and then check if selected, that doesn't make any sense. Selected's always going to be false. This would never be hit. Alright, we're going to ignore that line because it doesn't do anything. You would never get there unless I'm missing something. But you should never get there. Okay, ignore that. We want to ignore anything about the transform. We just want to say local position equals basically vector 3 dot up multiplied by our selection offset. Transform dot local position equals vector 3 dot up multiplied by iSelectable dot selection y offset. Wait, no, it equals selected question mark that. Otherwise, vector 3 dot 0, and that's not actually true. We don't want it to be vector 3 dot 0. Excuse me. We want probably to have a vector 2 for our current grid position, and then we can pass in. We can actually pass in the cell position. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And I think that means I can probably bin off this as well, because I would rather do it in the piece itself. Hold on, getting there, getting there. Let's have a private void update physical position, which is going to do this. And then we can say current grid position plus this. Ah! Wait. There we go. There we go. Or current grid position. Fantastic. Okay, so we should now be able to left click to toggle the selection of a piece on the board. Hey, look at that. Okay, so it's kind of working. All I need to do is also, when we set the grid position, we want to update physical position. Hit play again. Boom. We can now select pieces and put pieces down. Fantastic. Okay, so what we would like to do, we probably want to... I want to separate out some some of the aspects that we have here. Because what we would really like to be able to do is have it so that we can select both the tile and the piece separately, right? So because obviously we want to be able to have it so that when we've selected a piece, we can then select a tile and it will move the piece to that tile. And that's perhaps a question of, do we want to do this by actually moving, like, do we want to have it by actually having the individual tile its own object with the selectable interface, or do we want to have the whole board be clickable and then get the position for that, for where the mouse was? I kind of feel like I want to do the latter. So actually making the board manager selectable, but then I have to faff around with dynamic containers or dynamic collider sizes. I'm going to lower my desk back down again because I want to sit. I'm ready to get into prime coding position. So good, so good. Honestly, I don't know how I was working before having a standing desk. It hits different. So only got like 30 minutes. So here's a question as well. Do we want to store all of our tiles on the board in an array so that we can do stuff with them? I don't think I do. I don't really have any reason to. Yeah, no, this is fine. So we can have... I want something like a selection controller. So rather than actually select, like doing the selection in the iSelectable should instead call to the selection controller to say I want to be selected, or I've been clicked, try and select me. And then the selection controller can handle selecting based on that that object, I guess. And it can then fire off the event with the respective data. Maybe let's do that. Let's do that. So back over in my scripts folder in our selection systems. Oh yeah, I've got a selection manager. I'm going to rename this to selection controller. I don't think this needs to be a mono behavior. We're just going to have it be a singleton. So we'll have a private static selection controller s_instance, and then a public static, selection controller instance. Oh my gosh. New selection controller. So what this does, this creates us a lazy singleton, where our only way in is through this instance variable, And what that will do is return this static instance. If that is null, which is what these double question marks mean, it returns a new selection controller and assigns that to the s_instance parameter. I think that's the null coalescing operator is what that's called. Cool, so I think iSelectable, current selectable is what we want. I think then that means in the interface we probably don't. Yeah, I'll have it do point to click handler. We're not going to have these anymore because we don't care for them. We are instead going to have a public void select and a public void deselect. Or no, we can just have a public void set selected. Like that. So let's go back to our piece object and fix this up. We actually want this to take in a bool selected. There we go. Head back over to iSelectable. Make sure that's got that. Bool selected. Our selection controller then. We want to probably have a public struct selection payload which is going to have a generic type T where T is iSelectable, and that's going to have a public T selected object, or selected, or just, yeah, selected. So then we can have a public void select, which takes an iSelectable selectable. We'll say if current selectable is not equal to null, current selectable dot deselect, or set selected false. Following that, current selectable equals selectable, and then select it and invoke, I guess, Unity event. I can't specify the type because I don't know what it is yet. Damn, this happens every time when I try to do stuff with generics. I keep forgetting that I need to know what type I want to send. I think I'm being very stupid It's what I'm doing. I am being very stupid. I don't need to do the events in here. I can just do it in here. What are you complaining about? Using null propagation? I guess. Get rid of the selection payload. What I wanted to do was on the piece object, we can still have this fire off an event. We can have a public Unity event, public read-only Unity event. Make this static. Piece object on piece selected. There we go. And then when we click on here, we can say selection controller dot instance dot select this. Okay. So with that done, we should now be able to select pieces, but only be able to select one at a time. Wow, that didn't work. And now we can't deselect pieces either. This is kind of annoying. I think let's back up. We want to keep this much the same. We'll still have a set selected. So rather here, let's just go set selected true. And once again, you know, I'm being dumb. We want to have this be here. And we can say if event data dot button dot what's the syntax? I can never remember. Yes, if event dot button is equal to left mouse button, we'll set selected true, and invoke our on piece selected event. On piece selected, invoke this. And then on our selection controller, rather than doing that, let's have, let's make this a mono behavior. Add component, selection controller. Like that. And then on awake, we'll say piece object dot on piece selected dot add listener handle piece selected. Let's go ahead and generate that method. And this is effectively going to do similar to what is going on here. Get back in line. We're going to do similar to what we were doing before. We are going to say, rather than an iSelectable, I think let's have a piece object selected piece, and then we can say if, oh yeah, selected piece dot set selected false. All right, if selected piece is not equal to null, selected piece dot set selected false. I think that's all we need to do, and then we can say our selected piece equals piece dot selected. If the piece is selected, we set it to piece, otherwise we set it to null. And that way, when we deselect a piece, it's not gonna set it to its selected piece. We're gonna have nothing in the selected piece. There's definitely a better way to do that than what I've just done, but like I say, I'm feeling lazy and my brain's not working, and we've got 15 minutes. There we go. Oh, why? No, this... Okay, something screwy's going on. Oof, I've forgotten to unsubscribe as well. On destroy. Do that. So our piece object on pointer click, if we click with the left mouse, set selected, not selected. Then we invoke with this, the selection controller. Oh yeah, okay, fine. Let's do this the proper way. If s instance is equal to null, s instance equals that, and we return s instance. Okay. And then of course in the awake method we want to say if instance is not equal to null. Destroy us and return. Bruh. Okay, I can deselect stuff now. So that's a good sign. But we're still getting multiple selections. Have I forgotten to invoke? No, I'm invoking the event. Let's do a little debug log in here. So I'm gonna make use of our little check that we've got here. And there's something that I need to do with this. Parenthesize, yes, of course. Cool, so now we're going to get a debug whenever we handle this piece being selected that will set the selected piece to either piece.selected, piece.name or null, depending on if piece.selected is true. Cool. I imagine that probably the reason we're running into issues here is because piece doesn't end up being selected yet. Oh no, it just isn't creating our selection manager. Oh, of course it's not, because I'm not. Oh my gosh, I'm such a dummy. Because we're not using a direct call to it anymore. It's not going to do the lazy instantiation, so I need to actually create one. And now we should be fine. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Oh my gosh. And Unity crashed. Not a good sign, not a good sign. So that says to me somewhere that we've got an infinite loop. But that doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know where there would be an infinite loop. Let me hit play again and see if it crashes twice. It does. Cool. So there's definitely something screwy going on. Very interesting, very interesting. So the selection controller, I mean, it's probably this. This is going to be our infinite loop. Let's just do that. I think that's going to be much more sensible. Because I imagine what it was probably doing is checking to see if instance was null. And in doing that, it was creating a new instance and destroying itself because instance was no longer null. So we're getting like an infinite chain of creating and destroying selection managers. Yeah, there we go. Selected one. Yay! Perfect. Okay. And I can deselect, and it's set the piece to null. Fantastic. Good, 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 good. Okay. That is fantastic. So let's go ahead and make a script for Da 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 da. Our board tile. Stick that on here. We're going to make it iSelectable. Implement the interface. We're also going to want to have, it's basically going to be almost exactly the same as a lot of the piece object stuff. So we're going to have all of these. Current grid position, a Unity event for type board tile, and this is going to be on tile selected. We don't need to update physical position, we just want to set the grid position, and I think actually for setting grid position on this we do want a vector2 int. Or we could just set it directly. Whoops. Grid position. Amazing. And then when we click, what we want to do is have our selection controller do something. So let's go piece object dot, no, not piece object, sorry, board tile dot on tile selected dot add listener handle tile selected. Create that method, and this is going to again work kind of similarly to our handle piece selected method, where we're going to say, first of all, if selected piece is equal to null, we're going to return, because we don't care. Otherwise, we want to say if and we want this to be our grid position, we want to be a public grid position get private set grid position. So if selected piece dot is valid move position tile dot grid position, and we'll make this method in a second, then we want to say selected piece dot set grid position. Or actually we probably want to do move to tile. Tile dot grid position. And then we'll just do some cleanup. So deselect the piece and set our currently selected piece to null. Go and generate those methods. So, why are you internal? It should be public. So for our is valid move position, we want to... Is our board manager a singleton? It is not. I probably want to make the board manager a singleton. Cool. In awake, do the usual. If instance is not equal to null, destroy game object, return. Otherwise, s instance is equal to this, and then we do our normal startup stuff. So first things first. This is where our board data is going to come into play, or our piece data, sorry, is going to come into play. So we want to have a, not a serialized field, a public piece data, which again is going to be get private set. We'll have a setter for this, a public void set piece data, which is going to take in some piece data. And for the time being, all this is going to do is say piece data equals piece data. But what we would also need to do is update our visuals to match the piece data. Cool. So when we want to check the valid position, we're going to do a for each on piece data dot valid moves. Is that what I mean? What, we did something on piece data, didn't we? That, no, it's just got a list of valid moves. So then the movement data can return our valid spaces. So for each of our movement, for each of our valid moves, if data, or what, actually, yeah, let's do this. Valid moves. If valid move singular, you should be, is equal to, do I mean valid move? No, I don't. Dot get valid spaces dot contains grid position. And of course we need to pass in the board. So we've made the board a singleton now, so we don't need to do that. We just need to pass in the piece position. So I mean, this is definitely where I want to be storing this piece position, or our current grid position, as a vector 2 int rather than a vector 3. Let's go ahead and remove the board manager requirement from here. So if valid move dot get valid spaces, I don't think I can just put default nice. return true. Otherwise, return false, because there's nothing there. So at the moment, we should be able to see nothing because we have no moves set up on this thing. So if I try to click on any tile, it's just going to deselect the piece, in theory. Pick a pawn, select a square, not implemented. Oh. Dingus. We just need to invoke on tile selected dot invoke this. We possibly don't even need this to be selectable. We could just have it implement the interface directly. I think that's going to make a lot more sense. We just want to do that. We don't need to faff with selected. We don't need to faff with setting selected because we don't care about that in the board tile. We just want to know when it's clicked so that we can do some things. So, pick a piece, click away, null reference exception for each valid move in piece data.valid moves. Okay, so that's going to be piece data. We want to make sure this list is set to a default value. Same thing with movement data. I mean, we probably want to do some default settings on that, but actually, I think we should be okay. Click, click. Still null. On line 50. Oh, I haven't set the piece data on the object. Doi. Back in our board manager, let's make sure we go ahead on the new piece. We want to say new piece dot set piece data, and this is going to be board config dot board data. Nope, sorry, data dot piece data. There we go. Good stuff, good stuff. And hit the play button. Now we should be good. Now we should be good. Click, click, good. Deselects the piece. Doesn't deselect if we click outside of the board. We could make that thing. I don't think we need to worry about it for now. I might instead just have it that right click is our cancel button. But we'll sort that in a minute. So what we want to do now is actually start getting some pieces processing for movement. I'm running over the time that I wanted to spend on this today, but I also want to get pieces moving today. So in our specific movement, I would like to create a list of vector2 int valid spaces, and then for each movement data in movement data. That's not what I called it, is it? Movement offsets. I don't think it's movement data, it is movement parameter. You know what? I'm going to be lazy. We'll look to add that as a feature later. I want to say if... Well, we want to do a check. So we want to first of all check if the position is valid. So we're going to say board manager.instance.is valid position. If, yeah, board manager.instance.is valid position. Data.movement offset, and it's not going to be data.movement offset, it's going to be piece position plus data.movement offset. So if brain is slowly working, if it's a valid position, we want to by default add it to the space. So let's say valid spaces dot add. We'll do a vector2 int target space equals this. So what we're going to have to do is eventually to do factor in taking pieces, and then we can return our valid spaces. Continuous should be much the same. We basically want to keep going until we hit something that we can take or the edge of the board. Oh wait, let's go ahead and make a piece movement. Scriptables, piece data, movement data. It's going to be pawn walk or forward step, let's call it. We're going to have one option, and it's going to be forward one on the y-axis, and it's not going to be able to capture. So then on my pawn, I can add the forward step as a valid move. And now, touch wood, we should be able to... null reference, okay, great. What's our null reference exception? Possibly the board manager instance. I mean, it has to be, right? Yep. I think we made it, guys. I think we made it. So if I select this pawn and click over here, it goes down. If I click it and click there, oh, it didn't go forwards. Is it going to go sideways? No, it's just not going to move. Interesting, interesting. I'm just confused. Get valid spaces. So we're calling that pass in the position. I'm not passing in the position of the piece, am I? Course. We're passing in default. So we need to get the position of our piece on the grid, which makes me think I just need a converter public vector2 int piece to grid position. And we're just going to return board grid dot cell world to cell position. Oh. Oh, that's then going to complain because it wants a vector3 int. Let's be smart about this. Let's be smart about this. There we go. Okay. Good. And then we can wrap up on this one. No, it's still not moving. I mean, it's probably because it wants to move straight up instead of one space forwards. Although it shouldn't, because... Oh no, I have changed the cell swizzle. If I change that to X, Y, Z, it's gonna mess up the grid. Yeah, look at that, look at that. Okay. Buddy, get off the desk. Look at him. He's just jumped up. Go down there. I need to get this working before I stop. So I think, where's the tangle gonna be? Where's the tangle gonna be? Where is the tangle going to be? Because we use the Y position here for getting the center of the cell in world space. Because the Y value determines the Z position. So... Dude, get off the desk. Off the desk. Come on, down you go. When we... That gives us back a vector 3 int. So I think I probably want to say new. Let's get this var board, var tile position equals this. And then we can pass in that. Oh, and I need to make sure that I set the position. New tile dot set grid position. So this needs to be, oh, here we go. Board tile. Set grid position. It's not going to be cell position, it's going to be this. Whoops. Okay. I think there's definitely going to be some refactoring that I'll have to go through and do on this, because the code is starting to get kind of messy with the different types, but I think, touch wood, that should do it. Now that we've actually got the positions being set, the object I want to instantiate is null. Of course it is. Board, our board tile prefab is board tile. Yep. There we go. There we go. We got there eventually. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. So just so I'm explaining, when we're doing the valid position check, we're obviously we're looking that it's between 0 and the board size, but when I was setting the grid origin position, I was passing in negative positions because I was using the actual the world space position, that position of the cell. So, you know, there's a question there of if we include those kind of positional checks here too, or if we just do them in the first instance, or even if we don't bother doing any offsets because it makes life easier, and we just move the camera, which, to be fair, thinking about it, that's probably what I'll end up doing. Bro, still doesn't move forwards. but it is a valid position. Ah, and it doesn't move forward because I hadn't told it to. Piece object is valid move position. So in our selection controller, move tile to position. We're not getting the error thrown, so it's clearly not. It's clearly not getting there. But it's also not. Where's this line coming from? Let's do this. Debug.log. Comparing valid move set to position I think I could probably do a dot for each. So like that. Can never remember. I think it's only on arrays actually, isn't it? Swear down if it's that I had it as a Z instead of a Y. I'm gonna cry. Tears of joy, like, because it'll work. But good, good. Didn't work. Can you not? Yeah, right, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. It's going, it's moving mad. The bloody cat. Let's do var sb equals new string builder. We'll say sb.append valid positions. And then sb.append line. Pause. Go away. Okay. See, here's the thing. If I... Oh, it's because I'm clicking on the piece. If I click here, it actually clicks on the piece. That's something to think about. Okay, so we're not actually even getting to this. There are no valid moves in piece data.valid moves. Piece data valid moves forward step. That's in the basic pawn. Obviously on our board config we have a bunch of pawns. But we are getting here. We know we're getting here because we've had a null exception thrown at this for each. Let me do this, see what it's saying. I want to get rid of these selection notifications as well. Because we know that all of the selection stuff is working okay. One, good. So there is one here. So for each one of them, I'm not debugging. Ah! Debug.log. SB. I'm losing the plot, guys. I'm losing the plot. Okay, valid positions comparing for 1. There are none. No valid positions. So somewhere in here, this needs to be a vector 3 int. I mean, you shouldn't need to be a vector 3 int, you should be fine to be a vector 2. Because that means we get the right x and y values. Am I being really stupid? I think I'm probably being really stupid. So in my piece object, no, I'm not being stupid. I'm not being stupid. The grid position is the tile that we've just clicked on. We want to see if that is in the valid spaces list. So yeah, it should be. It should be, but it's not, and we don't know why. So we need to figure out why. And I need to do it quickly because I need to go and do other stuff. Right. 2 minus 1. Oh. Yeah, it's bloody offsets, isn't it? Oh! Okay. Guys, don't use offsets in your grids. Just don't do it. Oh, that is so annoying. So yeah, because it's offset, by the looks of things anyway. But it shouldn't be offset. But it is offset because I'm using the position of the piece. So onto this I need to add a new vector2 int or vector3 int, which is this. I need to add it back on. That has made me infinitely hate using offset grids. Haha! Position is valid! And now we're getting the not implemented exception because we haven't done move to position yet. Fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do here for the time being is just say set grid position. Of course that's not gonna work. I need something that converts in the opposite direction. So this is going to be board, or sorry, no, vector 3. Grid to piece position, and it's basically going to do this. Wait, no, I'm lying. I need to go from... Oh, no, I'm not lying. It's going to take a vector2 int grid position. That's going to be grid position .x minus board config board size .x. This is absolutely disgusting. Okay, that should get us there. That should get us there. I think we probably also test this with like a knight or something. What do you mean not implemented? I just implemented it. What are you talking about? I haven't saved. Oh, I haven't done it. Oh. I want to set grid position, board manager dot instance dot grid to piece position, grid position. There we go. It's been a long road, but I think we just got there. I think we just got there. Click, click. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. Still an invalid position, can't go there, can't go there. But I can still push forward. Problem is, obviously these ones can't move in the opposite direction. Because we haven't got any validation for like checking if it's dark to do it in the opposite direction, which to be fair we could probably do quite easily in our specific movement data. Let's just say plus and then it's going to be I have no access to the piece data in here. Passing a ball is dark, lowercase I, please. Let's make sure we do that. I can bin off this because I know that's all working fine. And then here we'll pass in piece data dot is dark. Oh, it's not in the piece data, it's on this. So we'll have this similar to the piece data. We'll have it get private set and we'll just pass it in here. And then we can pass through is dark. On the board manager, when we create the piece, we need to make sure we pass in data dot is dark. And then on the specific move data, we can say is dark, question mark. And then we just put this in brackets, and we want to invert the y direction, so we're going to say negative vector 2 int dot 1 multiplied by, not 1, sorry, up. Is that down? There is, good. Vector 2 int dot down multiplied by data movement offset. So it just inverts the direction effectively if it's dark, or inverts the y direction. I think that should be all our errors. No, we still have one in here because we haven't updated that to take that is dark. Oh, can't type. There we go. Now we should be good, and we should also have dark pieces being able to move as well. Get rid of that position is valid. And we can get rid of that coordinate check as well if I haven't already. Damn, it's one of the longest streams I've done in a while. It's been good though. It's been good. I think we've made some good progress here. So you step forward, he can't move that way, he can't move that way. Perfect. And we also can't en passant, or not en passant, sorry, but you know, like double step. Cool. Let's real quick make a movement data specific, and this is going to be a knight jump. And you guessed it, it's going to be 2 forward, 1 to the side, 2 forward, 1 to the other side. I think we can do, because we want to be able to go 2 backwards. And that way, and then we also want to be able to do the inverse, so 2 sideways, 1 forwards, 2 sideways, 1 backwards, and of course 2 in the other direction, 1 forwards, 2 in the other direction, 1 backwards. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new piece data, which is going to be my knight. I'm going to give it the knight jump. It's going to be a basic knight. Piece type knight, piece visual, knight. Which the knight is literally just a cube at the moment, because I haven't set it up yet. Great. That should be everything. Let's go ahead onto our board data, test chess, and I'm going to just replace one of the white pieces with a knight. Let's do this one. Oh yeah, we're not updating the visual for the mesh yet. To be fair, we could do that quickly. Let's do that quickly. So on the board manager, where we're grabbing the mesh component, the mesh renderer, let's actually say var renderer equals this. And then we'll say renderer.setMaterials. And before we do that, let's do, this is not in the right place. There we go. Renderer.setMesh. The mesh renderer isn't the thing with the mesh on it, is it? It's yeah, mesh filter. Can I do renderer.filter? No, okay, fine. Mesh filter dot mesh. Is there a set mesh? Nope. It's going to be data dot. Oh, I'm doing this in the wrong place. Da-da-da-da-da-da. There we go. Now we should see a cube for our knight. Yep, there he is, nice and tall. Let's scale this up. So I should be able to go there. Yeah! Can't go here, can't go there. I can go back. I can go to this place. I can go to that place. I can hop to here. And I can hop backwards. Fantastic. I think there's going to be one problem in that pieces can probably overlap at the moment. Yep, there it is. So that's fine, because we've obviously not done any validation for that, so we'll make that happen. But that's great. Okay, I'm going to end the stream there. I think probably between today's stream and tomorrow's stream, if I end up streaming tomorrow, which hopefully I do, I'm going to refactor a bunch of this stuff to move the camera instead of using the midpoint, or instead of using the midpoint and offsetting the grids around it, because that will make everything so much easier, and it will obviously fix the problem with the grid being off center like it is at the moment. But other than that, we are in a good position. So thank you very much everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. We got a good turnout today, some good chat action as well. Shame that my chat is broken in OBS, so it's not showing up on screen, but oh well. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing. We're almost at 1,500 subscribers, which is super exciting, so hopefully we can get there soon. If you're not already, feel free to join the Discord server in the link below. If you want to support the studio more, we have a Patreon, which I put pseudo-regular updates around the studio and some behind-the-scenes stuff on, as well as scripts, assets, early access to games, all the rest of it. Or if you want to support the studio financially for less money or as a one-off payment, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link over on the side as well. Thanks very much again for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.